Hey Bay Youth, welcome to the So Good podcast.
So good!
Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast. We are so excited for you to be watching this
Yeah,
today. We have a very special guest today here with us, the one and only Brandon Wells.
Yay!
Yo, what's up, Bay Youth?
Round of applause. Brandon, we're so excited to have you here on the So Good podcast. Hey guys, this is Nathan here,
And this is Mar.
and we are coming post-editing because my camera died when we were filming. So,
Womp
Mar, tell us what's happening.
So you won't be able to see our faces anymore, but you will still be able to hear us.
So please enjoy for the rest of the video Brandon Wells' beautiful face because that camera did not die. My apologies. Okay, bye.
Bye.
We have a little tradition that we have here on the podcast that we like to do. So we are gonna have you share what your so good of the week is. What happened that was good to you in the last few weeks? Tell us, please.
Sounds kind of cliche, but actually I was away on a trip recently. First time being away from my daughter, so walking through the door and just seeing her face of excitement and just in the Filipino culture we call it gigil, and she just got super excited and just seeing her face of when she seen me. That was really good. That was my so good.
That is actually the
so
cutest thing
cute.
I've ever heard. Mar, what about you? What's your so good of the week?
My so good of the week is that I'm almost done with high school and I'm so ready to
Shout
be
out.
done. Yeah,
That's it.
That's it.
Senioritis is real.
it's so real right now.
No, the way I struggled with that when I was a senior. My so good of the week is I recently I went a month without vacuuming my car out because I was just lazy. But yesterday I had some free time, so I vacuumed my car out and it is so clean. It literally I got in today and this is nice, you know?
Yeah, nothing like a clean car.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that your new car, the brand new one?
My brand new one,
You
guys.
didn't vacuum it for a month and it's
I
brand
literally
new?
I didn't vacuum it for a month because I literally was just lazy.
Does your car smell like new car or like
Oh,
McDonald's
it's
french
always
fries?
smelled good. Okay, first of all, I never eat in my car respectfully. I have my Bev. I always drink a Diet Coke in my car. There's no food in my car because I don't want the crumbs. So all the crumbs were from people getting in. You know when there's a leaf here or there.
On the feet, on the bottom of your
Is that
shoes,
just me?
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move
a
on.
leaf.
So we are gonna have our next segment of the So Good podcast, and that is us sharing what your bev of the day. My bev of the day is yerba mate, specifically in the Rebel Berry flavor. That is best flavor, respectfully. So that's my bev. I'm gonna give you guys some ASMR. Wait, okay.
Okay, now we all got to give ASMR.
Mar.
ASMR?
Oh. Okay, guys. My bev of the week is a cherry Coca-Cola because it's just so classic and it's so good. And here's my ASMR.
No.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
And I'm gonna follow suit. Mine is a Rockstar. I usually don't drink these, but today that's all they had. So
Yeah.
here's my ASMR.
I'm so sorry. Oh, that was really good, guys.
good.
I am really happy.
So
Can
good.
that be a new
Please.
weekly segment? Is
Yes.
just the So Good ASMR.
But we can't speed past what happened. So when they both opened their drinks, they snapped it into the mic and goes, "Oh wow, that was so good." And I thought it was the funniest thing.
That was before we started filming. That's actually no, because do you guys not watch ASMR?
No, for real.
I sometimes on my TikTok, the way I be having ASMR videos pop up, and I stay watching.
I didn't know what that means. I just followed what you guys did.
Oh,
I don't even know what it means. I just know that it's ASMR.
ASMR is kind of it's the sounds that give you the tingles,
Oh,
you know,
soothing sounds.
soothing sounds,
Yeah.
things that calm you. Have you ever experienced that?
No, I watch the videos. When they smash things, they'll smash Post-it notes.
Oh.
and, it's just I don't know what it is.
No, yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's visual ASMR. I think
There we go.
ASMR is
Yeah.
sounds.
Visual ASMR.
Yeah. However, that's not what we're here to talk about. Unfortunately, we are not an ASMR podcast. The way we should become one though, because I just like ASMR guys. So Brandon, you are here with us today. For the viewers who may not know you, please tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are how you got to the Bay. It's a loaded question, but like tell us a little, like give us a little sneak peek into your life.
All right. So my social security number is no, I'm just kidding. My name
1,
is
2, 3, 4.
Dang, I'm old, huh? It starts with a 1.
Ooh.
But no, my name is Brendan Wells. I'm actually the youth pastor here. Brand new youth pastor. This is going on I'll say my 9th day on staff here.
So good.
I've been around though. I live in Pittsburgh, California. I originally was from Barberton, Ohio, but I actually moved.
Ohio.
Ohio.
What?
The Bible Belt, you know. But then I moved out here when I was
Man.
like 12. I would say like 11 or 12 years old. So I've been out here for about 20 years. Just had a brand new baby. I'm probably the most athletic nerd you know. I don't look like it, but like I'm a super big nerd, and I love to play sports, and I kind of mix both. You should come out to our turkey bowls. Kind of fun.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I learned about Brandon this week is that he can rap. So I love putting people on the spot. Can you please show us a little demonstration about your rapping skills?
I will only rap if you give us a 1-minute sermon about the lighter.
Okay, go.
I was hoping you would say no.
I got you.
Okay. Let me think. What do you want me to rap about?
Can you rap about
That lighter.
The lighter. For reference, for the audio listeners, there is a lighter on the table in front of us next to a candle.
And I'm not really a rapper, but I'm just entertaining this. This is for the people, all right? This is for the culture.
For the bit.
All right. So about the lighter, okay. When you got a lighter in your life, it shines a little brighter. Sounds like a poem, but that was my rap.
Oh.
Okay. I'll remix it.
Bars for days.
No. Turn on the lighter, gets a little brighter. You already know that I really am a fighter.
Oh.
That's so good.
Bars.
So good. My 1-minute sermon about the lighter is, that lighter, it produces light. You know what also produces light? The light of Jesus in our life. So therefore, be the light.
That was like 15 seconds.
That's
like
my
the
1-minute sermon, y'all.
That was good.
Y'all,
Alright.
is it 45 minutes
But
already?
was it so good?
I'm probably going to cut that part out, guys.
You can't. I rapped. You can't cut that out.
Fine. Okay. Mar.
You guys, I can't with the awkward pauses. Okay, so as we begin, we're going to go over today's topic, which is about prayer and relationship building. So, B Wells, what does your prayer life look like with God? And, like, how do you really talk to God in your, like, prayer life?
For me, like, I honestly, like, it's kind of like a hills and valleys situation, kind of ups and down. Like, there's times where I'm really strong in prayer. And, like, as a pastor, it sounds bad, but I should be, like, more consistent in my prayer life. But, like, I notice, like, sometimes I have my hand out in prayer. And then sometimes I, like, don't have my hand out at all. I'm not praying at all. So I would say it comes up and down, but I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more consistent. But one thing I would say, like, in my life, when I am consistent, I notice, like, God is even more consistent. And so I would say, yeah, that's my prayer life. Pretty much.
That's good. I think that's somewhere that we've all been before, where we're like too lazy to pray or something, or we just like completely just shut it out. But I like what you said. The more consistent you are, the more consistent God will be.
Have you guys ever fell asleep during prayer at night?
Oh,
Ooh.
plenty of times.
I wake up at like 3 a.m. Amen.
You know? For those who are listening though, that like we talk about prayer though, but like what does it actually mean to pray? Like what is prayer? Like how would you in your own words like kind of describe like what prayer actually is though?
It's actually super simple. It's just a casual conversation with your friend. Like honestly, think about it. Like you have a conversation with your friend. The more you talk to your friend, the more you're going to open up. Same thing with God. If I'm just like giving him a surface level prayer, like, oh God, thank you for waking me up. And that's all I'm praying all the time. Like that's all I'm going to have. But just like you would talk to your friends, get deeper and deeper and deeper the more you talk to them. Yeah. Same thing when you're praying with God. It's just a casual conversation with your best friend.
Yeah, that's good.
I think for some of us though, or I know to know in my personal prayer life that like before I actually like had like a really like close relationship with God, like that I took into like my own hands, and like not my parents or not like anyone I knew, like I took my relationship with God like for myself. I like learned how to pray like more, I guess, and like I deepened my relationship with God through prayer. Cause like, that's what it really is though, is like it is just a conversation. It's like communication between like what you said, like between your friends, and like that's how you become closer. the same idea works for God. Like you become closer, the more you can talk to him, more you can be honest with him, be vulnerable with him.
Mhm.
Like how in your life have you seen that your personal like relationship with God has like grown deeper and like grown like to a more intimate friendship with him, like in your own prayer life? Like how have you like maneuvered that?
I think it time,
Mm,
kind of working out and exercising my own like shortcomings and flaws. I
mm,
think sometimes like we think we need to have like some elaborate prayer.
mm,
We need to just like sound nice. Like we hear our pastors when they pray on Sundays, or you see a video and it's all well constructed, and it's like, oh wow, that really spoke to me.
mm,
It wasn't the person speaking to you; it was God's word speaking to you.
Mm.
mm,
And I think for me, it's just like understanding that like my prayers need to come from my voice
mm,
and not really. I don't need to sound a certain way. I need to sound like Brandon.
Mm.
And I think that as I've learned that, it's kind of deepened my relationship with God because He's created me to be me.
yeah.
He didn't create me to be Nathan. You know,
Mhm.
He didn't create me to be Mar. He created me to be Brandon, and understanding that like again, my prayers need to have my voice. It's helped me really kind of be comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah, no, I think that speaks volumes. Where it's like I feel like the biggest thing that I like cannot conceptualize about prayer though is that like God, like the creator of the universe, like the same God that like was a burning bush, like the way that like how powerful he is and how like he wants like he's like, literally the most powerful being ever and like but he wants to have a relationship with me
Mm-hmm.
and like me like he wants to talk to me for like who I am
Mm.
and like not for someone else, not for whatever. I recently was at church and like I was talking to someone about prayer and she was saying like how uh like one of the best moments of her life was when she realized that she could talk to God. Like she didn't have to be like a Christian when she talked to God. And like what she meant by that is she doesn't have to have like a long formulated prayer. She doesn't need to read a list. She doesn't need to like be on her hands and knees. Like she can be honest with God about how she's feeling like in that moment, like throughout her like current circumstances or like things. And she can just talk to him and like he receives like the raw, authentic version of
Mhm.
her.
The boldness in prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me think of Gideon, right? Everybody knows what Gideon is in the story. He gets a lot of flack
Mhm.
in commentaries and from Christians all around the world, right?
Mhm.
That he's like, oh, he's asking for a sign. He's asking for a sign.
Mhm.
But when I think of Gideon's story, I was actually prepping for a sermon not so long ago, and like that was the thing that's always being said. But like I read it and I kept reading it, but what stuck out to me is actually like it was kind of bold.
Mm.
God was literally right in front of him, and he said, "Stay here, so I know it's you." Then he said, "Hey,
Mm.
you know, God, I'm gonna go be obedient, but can you give me one miraculous sign?"
Mm.
And then he's like, "Hey, God, I know you're talking to me. I know what you've said, but don't be mad at me. Give me one more sign."
Mm.
And I think he gets a lot of flack for that, but I think honestly it was a boldness. Like he was raw and intentional with God. Like, "Hey, God, I'm scared of my circumstance.
Mm.
I know you're taking me to somewhere where it's uncomfortable for my people and for myself, and for your glory, but like I'm scared."
Mm.
And can you show me one confirmation?
Yeah.
And God showed up. And I think the reason why God showed up is because he knew what Gideon needed.
Mm.
Just like, you know, you talked about just a boldness. Like God already knows what you need. He just wants you to hear it. He wants to hear it from your voice, not his
Mhm.
own inner dialogue.
Mm.
And I think that's one thing. It's just like you can be super raw, intentional, but just again, talk to him like a friend, like you would. You have your close friends who you kind of have surface level conversations. Then you have your best friend
Yeah.
who you tell everything about.
Mhm.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
So as you were talking about like your prayer life and everything, what does it look like for you to talk to God? You know, like how Gideon was bold with him.
Mhm.
What is it like for you to be talking to God?
Again, like I mentioned earlier, it comes in like hills and valleys. It comes in
Mhm.
ups and downs. But I will say, one time in my life, like where like God really like spoke to me was like I was kind of going through a hard time mentally, and a lot of things were going on. It was COVID year. Everybody had a hard year, COVID year, right?
Mhm.
But it was just like my wedding was canceled. My we're buying a house, and then that wasn't going through. And I remember thinking to God, like, man, like not much can break me, God, but like this is gonna break me.
Mm.
And then like I just like after I said that, God was like, it's not gonna break you. And then so then I just like went in, like prayer and like really like got down, like, I don't know, like tears and really worship and really seeking God and really like, kind of like Jacob, I was wrestling with God in a bathroom. And like, you guys know,
Of all places.
yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna have faith. Like, I'm gonna clean this bathroom as if I'm moving into my new house, because we had to clean the whole house to move out, right? But I'm gonna clean this bathroom because we're not gonna be here. And they're like, if the money doesn't come over on Monday, we're gonna cancel, and we're gonna pull out, And so I was like, okay, well, so I wrestled with God, and we were in our new house on Monday, and it was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah.
But that's what I think of, like, when I truly surrender to God, that's when my prayer life is at its best. It's because I'm no longer saying Brandon can do this or Brandon needs this. Actually, I'm saying Brandon needs God. And when I do that, like, when I fully surrender, that's when, like, I'm really closest to God.
That's good.
Yeah.
I do think that, like, one thing that God is not looking for perfect people who know it all, or like people who come to God saying, like, you already know what I want, so there you go. I think he really works through our flaws, and when we like fully surrender through him, like, like in seasons that there's storms and everything, like there's spring after, that's when everything flourishes, and that's what God's looking for, like, or just to pour everything down to him,
Yeah. No, for sure. We can't have green hills without water.
Yeah,
That's
there you
good.
go.
Yeah. That's good.
That was really good.
That
Pastor
was
Mar.
good.
Look at you.
I was just thinking Pastor Mar.
No, for real. I think the reality is, though, is that sometimes, like, I don't want to surrender things to God. Sometimes I just don't feel like I want to hold on to something. Like, I want to hold on to, like, my willpower. I want to hold on to, like, whatever it may be. So, like, have there ever been moments in your life where, like, you didn't feel like surrendering, like, you didn't feel that boldness that Gideon was feeling? Like, have you ever encountered moments like that where, like, you kind of, like, took a few steps back in, like, your faith, and, like, you didn't, like, present God, like, what was happening? Like, do you have, like, a story or, like, a time that has happened to you?
Yeah, I actually have, like, a whole, like, season, like,
Please share.
like a span of a couple of years. So I grew up in the church, and, like, I would go to youth group, and my youth group was called 180. Because you went in that door and you never came out the same. I thought that was a really cool concept.
Oh, that's really
That's
good.
really
Yeah.
Okay.
And it changed my life for the good. Like, I like, could have been so much worse because I grew up without a father. But I remember when, like, in my probably like my 19 to like 24 like age, like, I really just like wanted to be my own person. And it was because I had the lack of a male figure in my life. And I would like kind of resent and hold things up, like, why, like, what would my life look like? I'd look around at my friends and be like, oh wow, like they have two parents, or and I just was really edgy for a long time, and it led to a lot of bad decisions. But God let me work it out because at the end of the day, like, he knew, like, I had a firm foundation in him at a young age, but I held on to that. Like, I held on, like, you know what, I'm gonna figure out what it means to be a man myself, and I think that really set back my relationship with God for a long time.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's like the idea of like that's too much. Like, it seems like too much to trust God with, like, to give up to him. Like, you need to take it into your own hands, and that, like, you need to like fix it yourself, But the reality is, though, God wants us to surrender. God, like, wants us to give it all to him so that we can lower ourselves, like, remove ourselves, and give him, like, the space to work, and, like, give him, like, the freedom to kind of, like, move in and, like, kind of, like, fix up our lives for us, because I'm not strong enough to fix my life, So, like, when, like, it comes to, like, that, like, how did you, like, overcome that? Like, how did you, like, was there, like, a, like, come to Jesus moment of, like, you
prodigal son?
No, for real. Like, when you returned to him, when you, like, whatever, what did that look like for you in your life?
I think God let the world break me in a way that, like, in a loving way, like, he was still present, he still protected me, he still, like, made sure, like, things weren't, life threatening and stuff, but he let my decisions that let the world break me. He let me go through some things that I would have never gone through if I would have walked with him. But he was still present. I think back of, like, different times where, like, honestly, I shouldn't sit. I'm about 7 or 8 Christmases ago, I got in a really bad car accident. And I honestly have no reason to be sitting here at this table. But, like, that was during my season where I was like, again, I'm figuring out what it means to be a man. And God said, okay, figure it out. I'll be here. I'll be here.
Mm.
And he let the world break me in a way that, like, his love, he didn't want to break me.
Mm.
But he said, you know what? I'm going to let you break yourself. And it was like that. It was kind of like that loving father discernment that only he can kind of give us. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like, it was one of the things where, like, you want to run, go ahead. And I think that's what I thought about. I was like, it's hard to let go, but sometimes you have to go through some things to learn to let go.
Mm.
And that's the pleasure of free will. You're allowed to have free will. God
Yeah.
allows you to make your own decisions. And
Yeah. No, that's good. I remember Easter's in a few weeks. So like the way, but Easter last year, I remember I had the opportunity with you is we were on the stage like at the Concord campus and we had like a special moment of like during worship, like we had like we called it the cardboard testimonies
yeah.
of where like Brandon and I, like you and I got to share like a piece of our lives that like was like difficult and like we got to like kind of it was like on one side it was like the situation that happened to us, but then on the other side as we flipped it, it was like how God worked through that situation. And like to your point, like you shared something like part of your story up on that stage, and I just remember like the vulnerability that you had to share that though, like was like letting God like move like through you, and like that was like you on the other side of it, like that was you be like doing a 180 in your life. And
Amen.
how
Pastor Nathan.
you know, there's already ones, it's fine. No, but that was like how like God like works through your life, and it's like it's really cool to see that like how you are able to come back to him and like come like be in like conversation with him, have like your prayer life be a thing, and like have just like honest conversations. 'Cause I'm assuming you didn't just like wake up and then like okay cool like whatever, like it took time to like actually come back to God and like to actually like learn how to pray again, learn how to like be with him again, you know, like kind of learning like the surrendering of that.
Yeah, I had to learn. Like, it was like I was in youth group all over again.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was a time I was driving to work and I was thinking, man, is this Christian stuff really for me? And like, I had to really think like that. But at the end of the day, like, there is a battle that's being fought at the end of the day that we don't want to acknowledge in our culture and our world. But like, I legit I was at a crossroad moment. I could have said, you know what? I don't want to be Christian no more. And walked away, or I could have met God at that crossroad and say, hey, you know, like, I'm sorry. I kind of, I've been away for a while. And it's the thing, like, God took that moment and just like 5 or 6 years later, I'm sitting at a church, a pastor. Like
So
he doesn't always call the qualified. Sometimes he qualified the call. And I think for me, like that's
Pastor Brandon right there. Okay.
And for me, like I know I don't deserve to be here, but I know that God trusts me to be here. But he let me walk in that testimony.
Yeah.
You know, and let me come back to him. So
It's good.
Yeah. And you couldn't get to that point though until you like were able to be in relationship with him, like you giving him like the space of a friend, like that, like Pastor Ray at church, whatever, a few weeks ago, he talked about how we need to be having like wisdom and choosing our friendships because our friends need to speak truth to us. Our friends need to speak like life into us. And that's kind of literally like how like your relationship with God works too, of like you giving him the space to like let him be a friend in your life and like let him speak truth into your life and like kind of like gear you back towards like the path that he wants you to be on, you know?
Yeah, I think though, what he said was like, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Like, ooh, that's fire.
Yeah.
But definitely. And I think it's who you surround yourself with. Also accountability friends that are not just going to let you go and do, like I had friend groups when I was going through that season that was just like encourage me to do stupid things. But, you know, thank God for my wife. Like she was my accountability friend that like God blessed me with. And I think just finding out who in your friend groups will hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Who will give you some grace when you need it, but who's going to give you that tough love.
Yeah.
And I think identifying that like person in your life is good.
Okay, so I know that when I was young and like in middle school, I didn't know how to pray. All I did was pray for my food, and that was it. I was never given any steps or any encouragement on how to get closer to God. For our viewers who are watching, what would you like encourage for them to get closer to God through prayer? Like any steps that they would have to take?
I would say just start. Like it starts with, praying for your
Mhm.
food, hey, I've blessed food. That's cool. But it starts with just saying like, hey God, thanks for waking me up this morning. It starts with little things. And
Mhm.
as that relationship gets deeper, you'll start to say more.
Yeah.
You start to edge out your own voice in prayer. So I would just say just start and just be grateful.
Yeah.
I mean, when you show gratitude, things start to open up. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'd say is just to start. Like it's weird. Like it sounds like I might be talking to a wall or talking to a ceiling or whatever the case is, the back of my eyelids. But like you just start,
Yeah.
and as you'll start to get comfortable. But again, prayer's conversation. You don't always have to speak.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes you can just sit in silence and be like, you know what, God, like I want to hear your voice. I don't know what to say,
Mhm.
and just sit there. Give
Yeah.
him 15 minutes of your time. Who knows
Yeah.
what will happen?
Yeah, it's kind of like having a new friend that you're like slowly getting comfortable with, and you're just like starting to speak up more.
Mm.
Yeah.
What I think of it as.
So you guys you're about to graduate, and then you're already graduated, right?
I did.
Do you guys remember like those summertime conversations with your friends where you're sitting on a pool or sitting on like a hot tub, or like you're just driving home somewhere, like, and your conversations are just so deep during the summer?
Mm.
I don't know why, but that always is the case. Like
It's
during the
always-
summer, you just
Yeah,
be
it
having the
is.
deepest conversations.
You know
with
why?
Your friends. Why? Tell
You
me,
spend more
please.
time with each other.
Mm.
Because during school, you go do, your 6 or 7 periods. You have your hustle bustle. You have your homework. You have your guidelines from your parents, what you have to do.
Mm.
During the summer, you're instead of being at school for 8-9 hours, you're
Mhm.
actually gonna hang out for 8-9 hours.
Yeah.
And it's always that nice summer night, whether it's like you're out and it's dark, but like you have these really deep conversations. And you're like,
Mm.
wow, I didn't know we were that close.
Mm.
Yeah.
That could be prayer for you.
Yeah. And it's like you're able to have that conversation though. Like you don't need to be like on your hands and knees. Like you don't need to be like saying a list of like
Yeah.
a certain words to say or to like whatever. Like what God wants is like your authentic you, like your authentic self.
Mhm.
And so it's really just like kind of including him along the ride of your life as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh God, thank you so much for this, whatever. Like for like doing this thing in my life, whatever. Or it'd be like, God, I'm really upset. And like I don't know how to go about it. But like it's kind of the idea of like you kept on mentioning the word surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the like prayer is kind of the idea of that is like surrendering like your own strength for your life and like you handling it, but again like giving up to God and like letting him in to, like the spaces of your life that like you don't let other people in, you know.
Mhm. I think I've noticed like the times in my life where I've been the strongest was at my weakest, actually,
Mm.
which is kind of it's like it fits in like God has like an upside down kingdom
Yeah.
in a way. Like the first will be last. The meek shall be strong. Different
Yeah.
things like that. And I think it's like kind of like when I felt like I was weak, like I actually was really strong because like it's hard to surrender. It's hard to be like, you know what, God, I've been holding on to this and sharing this for so long, but you know what? I'm gonna give it to you.
Mm.
There's power in that. And I
Yeah.
think
So
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
So as we're closing out, Brandon, do you have any final comments? Anything you want to leave the viewers with today? Do you want to, or is it?
can I plug the youth group?
Please tell us. Plug us up.
All right. So every Tuesday we have youth group at 6:30.
Where?
Concord campus.
Concord
Yeah.
campus.
Every Wednesday we have it at 6:30 as well on the Brentwood campus.
That's right.
Show up.
Please
That's
show
it.
up. Yeah, show
Y'all
up.
can see Brandon Wells being a pastor in real life, not just
You
through the
guys
screen right
won't
now.
regret it.
Not
You guys
AI
see-
generated.
Not AI generated. For real. Yeah, no, Tuesday, Wednesday night, small groups, phenomenal time. Literally the best moments of my life have been in our small groups and like just me like sharing and like being vulnerable with other people. It's like a really impactful thing. But also you can just have fun. You have your friends,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah. Not always deep,
Yes.
but it can get deep
Yeah.
for sure.
Hey Mar, before they come to youth group though, what should they do?
Before you come to small groups, you know what you guys should do. Follow us at thebay.youth. Don't forget the dot.
Don't forget the dot because
Don't
then you
forget
won't find us.
Because then you won't find us and you'll be super sad and you won't be able to go to small groups because you're
Yeah.
super sad.
For real.
Yeah.
Also, we are really excited though as well because this summer in what are the months? April, May, June.
4 months?
3 months?
3.5
3.5,
months.
something like that.
We'll
I don't
guess,
know.
we'll
We are
guess.
having summer camp and
Yeah, we are.
I am so excited for it. It will be such a good time. However, at the time of this podcast being posted, we have unfortunately missed the early bird pricing. However, it's not too late to sign up. It's not too late to register. Do not let money be an issue or be a reason why you can't come. Just talk to your small group leader. We can plug you up. We got you. Make sure you guys sign up. And you can do that by visiting the link in our bio
Yes.
on our Instagram.
Do me a
On
favor,
our
there's a piece of paper right there. Can you hand that to me?
This?
On the desk? Yeah.
Oh, that's so far away.
So,
On your desk.
Yeah.
Look at you, Brennan Wells.
so if you don't, or if you guys are worried about money, we missed the early bird special, right? But you guys can still get help, different scholarships. But what we're doing this year is actually a golf tournament.
Okay.
So you guys can sign up, or you can help get people to sign up. If you actually want to come serve on that day, it'll pay a portion of your camp.
So good.
So good.
So good.
Guys, money won't be a problem.
No, it will not. I'll make sure of it. Come if you watch this video and you sign up for camp and you come find me, I will make sure money is not an issue.
Bless up.
There you
You
go.
heard it here first, folks.
Heard it from the one and only.
And that's our podcast, guys.
That's it.
So good.
Did it.
So good. Can we end with ASMR?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Should we all do it like at the same time?
Okay.
Okay, triple A.
Ba da ba ba ba.
Wait.
Wait, Brandon, we gotta bring down the volume. Okay. Wait. Okay, everyone take a sip. So good. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We will see you next week.
Bye.
Not next week. We will see you next month.
Next month.
Okay.
Woo.
Okay,